Let me just bring Turker on. Whenever you guys get the
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi.
Oh, sick. What's up, Stardust, Alex? Good to meet you guys. I've been a fan
Nice
of
to
this
meet
channel
you.
for a while.
Sure.
Good to meet you. I want to talk about hookup culture and how it is not good. So I think there'll be some disagreement from you, Alex, because
Okay.
I know you're really into hookups. I think that I think that so first, I feel like hookups are especially bad for women because they get like fake relationships. So they don't get more serious, like they get superficial relationships. A lot
But
of women,
what if a woman, real quick, what if a woman doesn't want a serious relationship? What if she just wants to have some casual fun?
that's fine. I mean, sex and validation are cool, but that'll actually catch up to her in the future. Women who
How?
continue to hook up because women are valued by men based on physical attractiveness, and that decays very rapidly. So once a woman reaches a certain age, she's going to be a lot less desirable as a partner.
But
Similar-
yeah, but what if she like just hooks up with guys in her early 20s and then she gets like whatever into starts looking for a relationship in her late 20s?
That's cool. I just don't think that like you've already wasted so much time pretty much hooking up. I feel like to get a solid relationship, you kind of need to start as soon as possible. I don't think people really understand the urgency of getting into base monogamous relationships.
What's the urgency?
Additionally, sorry.
I don't know. I might push back on this. A lot of girls end up wasting some of a lot of their youth in monogamous relationships with guys they end up breaking up with. And then they get out and they're in their late 20s and they've got no other experience for relationships. And yeah, it can go both ways. So
That's true.
What's the urgency though? I don't. What is the urgency? Like
So,
I'm
yeah.
32 right now. I spend a big part of my life having sex with girls. Now I'm in a relationship. What's the urgency for me?
So I think that the important part of getting into a relationship, especially a long-term one, is preparing you for old age. When you're old, you need to have the thing that gives you fulfillment in life. And I know this because I'm close to a lot of my old people, like my grandparents and their siblings and stuff. The ones that are doing better are the ones that are closer with their family and that have big families. So if you're not getting ready for that, you're kind of fucking yourself over in a sense.
That feels like a very depressing way of looking at life. Of like the point of life is to get ready for being old. Like,
Well,
I mean,
there's more.
I'd rather enjoy my life now, and I don't give a shit if I have a choice between really enjoying my life now and suffering in my 70s versus kind of suffering now, or even like having an average life now, but really enjoying my 70s. I think I would rather enjoy my life now while I'm young and like able to experience it. So I don't know.
one thing I would say is I think you can foster relationships. You can put a lot of value on friendships and family throughout your youth and as you're growing, regardless of whether you're hooking up with people or whether you're in a monogamous relationship. These aren't really things that are like mutually exclusive, right? I tell a lot of girls like you can get a lot of things out of platonic friendships, and you may not even for a while may not even need like a serious relationship for a while because you get all of these things that you're looking for from a platonic friendship. If you continue to build those relationships and maintain them throughout your life, you're going to have the same amount of like connections at the end of your life, right? So
Yeah, I just don't really see. I mean, you were talking about earlier how women are generally happy being single and working, and that they're happy living
Well, I didn't say
lives of hooking
single,
up and all
but
that.
Yeah.
The whole argument was the data
Yeah.
seems to support that women on average, on aggregate, are happier the ones who work rather than the ones who stay at home with kids.
Yeah.
I don't. That may be true. I think in middle age, but I feel like it'll really catch up to them when they get old.
What if you're just one of those people like me who doesn't really give a shit about old age?
I mean, that's fine, but I mean, you'll see. I guess. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's a moral wrong to be hooking up and stuff. I just think that it's a bit irresponsible.
Well, I think it's like,
but you can do what you want, of course.
well, I think it's like a different outlook, but like, yeah, like this was popular for a long period of time. It's like, hey, go to college, get a job, get a series of promotions, save up for retirement, get married, do like the white picket fence thing, and then when you're in your 60s, 70s, and you retire, that's when you can start enjoying life. That's like kind of like the American dream that's been sold and pitched. But I think a lot of people have realized that is bullshit. It's like, do I really want to wait until 60s and 70s to start really enjoying my life? Like, I don't think so. I would rather enjoy my life now and fucking take an L when I'm in my 70s, for me personally. I think probably a lot of people would agree with me on that. So I don't know. Like, that's one outlook, is like kind of work for, for when you retire, just work and work and work for that. But I think that's like a kind of like I don't know. That's not the way I would want to live. I don't think that's a good way of living your life. I think it's better to spend 50% of your time enjoying now, 50% of time for the future. But yeah, I think it's important to like really enjoy things now.
Okay, don't you think though that it's possible to enjoy life the full way through? I think you're kind of an outlier in wanting to hook up like I feel like you might just be very, very sexual, like a very sexual person. And that's great. I mean, I enjoy sex just as much as the next guy. But for me, what I really think is going to make me happy is a relationship. And I think that's the case for a lot of guys. Because what really is the thing that is making all these people become incels? It's that they want to be loved. They want to be desirable, but they're not. And I don't think it's just for sex. I think they want like a woman to die for, in a sense.
I certainly don't. Well, I mean, I think that's like ultra simpy to want a woman to die for. I don't think you should want to die for anyone. Yeah, I don't think I'm an outlier. My sex drive, I would say, is actually probably below average. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Like, for me, ideally, I have sex 3 to 4 times a week, so that's not like super high. I know I have a lot of friends who want to fuck like 2, 3, 4 times a day. So I don't think my sex drive is that high. I just enjoy the novelty, which I think a lot of guys do too. The only thing that makes me an outlier is that I have the skill set to get the variety. But I think a lot of guys would be quite happy in my life. They just, for whatever reason, can't do it. So
I gotta get going, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm sorry I couldn't stay longer, but have a great night. Maybe we can continue this sometime.
Yeah, do you want to plug your channel real quick before you take it off?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm Stardust. You can find me on youtube.com/Stardust streams or on twitch.tv/Stardust. I do debates mostly around like politics and policy stuff, but sometimes we go over interpersonal things. And I think I'm like a feminist that's a little bit more approachable than the average feminist. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We pretty much agreed on like pretty much everything except Johnny Depp.
Yeah, and you know, I would love to have a larger discussion on that at some point. Because I think like my take is not that crazy, right? I think both of these people suffered in this relationship. I just don't think that one side is completely evil, right? So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We can continue the discussion. All right, cool, awesome. Thank you, Stardust.
Yeah, great.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have a good one.
Have a great. Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Right, now it's officially a sausage fist.
Awesome.
Okay, let's keep going. So what were we saying?
Facts. That's pretty much it. I think that it's cool. I mean, you can have your preference. You can choose to hook up now. But I think that for a lot of men, they do want that relationship, and that's the reason that they became incels to begin with, is that they just couldn't. They weren't even anywhere close to that. They couldn't even approach a girl for sex, even.
Well, they were incels because they couldn't get anything. But do you think, okay, if we did like a survey, we asked like 100 guys, do you want right now? I can wave a magic wand, and you can either be in a relationship, or you can live like the Leonardo DiCaprio lifestyle, at least for the first 5 years, where you get to fuck like a new hot 20-year-old girl once a week for like years. What do you think most guys would pick?
I mean, of course, it depends on the people you're asking, but I would say it would be pretty even. I mean, in your chat, I imagine it's going to be mostly fucking bitches because, you know, girls like to fuck bitches. But, and in red pill communities, certainly, but I don't know. I think a lot of people really just want that. And I think the last guy too, what was his name? Singe. I think you really pushed him on this too. Does he really want to be fucking virgins, or does he want to be fucking like, you know, billion bitches? I don't know. I don't know, man. I feel like could go either way.
50-50? Yeah, I would agree. I think it probably will be 50-50. So I do think it will be down the middle. I think half the guys would take the casual sex option. Half the guys will take the relationship option. I agree with that. But if we go outside my community, of course. But I don't know if that's like, but that just means that it doesn't mean like most guys want one thing. It actually means that it's pretty split. Some guys want the casual sex. Some guys want the relationship. I do know a lot of guys who are in relationships simply because they couldn't have casual sex and it was like their only chance of like getting laid continuously. So a lot of relationships are even based on scarcity. So like I think I think that's a percentage, like a large percentage of guys who are in relationships. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
well, live in box is nice. Don't get me wrong. I want to talk also about bodies. So you guys were talking about. Hold on, I wrote this down actually. About how you don't see why so many people care about having girls having high body counts. I think that it actually does matter if a girl has a high body count. I think that when you're having sex with a girl with a high body count, you feel like a man feels less special because that girl is giving it up very easily. I think one of the best parts of sex is, oh shit, I'm having sex. Like I feel great about this. It's like an accomplishment, but it's less so when a girl has a lot of bodies.
Yeah,
right,
you're talking
right.
about validation. Yeah, I mean, I think but I don't think that's a good mindset to have. Is to like derive a lot of validation from sex. I used to be like that when I was younger, but I don't know if that's any good. The only good reason to care about girls with low body counts is because on average it seems like they're less likely to divorce you if you marry them. So
Yeah,
that is a valid reason. But in terms of like the validation thing, yeah, but that just comes down to ego. Like I think it's probably a better option to like not put like kind of get over your ego a little bit and not seek validation from like fucking random girls.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a big thing that I really like about the new red pill movement is that it's super about self-improvement as opposed to just, oh, women are the problem. Of course, there's much to be said about women. But
Let me quickly answer. Like this is just like such like a misconception. Like it doesn't actually work that way. Like a girl who has a high body count, her pussy's like ultra loose, and it's just like you don't feel anything. It doesn't like actually work that way unless she was getting railed like literally 2 hours ago by a guy with a humongous schlong. Like with the exception of that, it doesn't work that way. I've had sex with girls who had like super high body count. I've had sex with girls who are like 5'10", and like their vagina is not like looser or tighter. This is just like a weird misconception that never goes away.
yeah, I agree with that. I don't think that has to do with feeling a lot. Of course, virgins are going to be super tight. Other than that,
Yeah, virgins are going to be super tight, with the exceptions of virgin, where the girl has body count of 5 or 500. There's not going to be a difference. Also, your body doesn't know whether you're like, okay, think about it. Like a girl with a body count of 5, but she's had sex with one guy, each guy 100 times each, versus a girl with a 500 body count, but she fucked each guy once. You think her body can tell the difference between the fact that this was like a different dick in terms of her vagina getting stretched out? Like at the end of the day, I mean, if you want to look, if you're really that focused on that, you should focus on frequency of sex. So it's not just body count. It's like, okay, well, if she was getting fucked by her ex-boyfriend 3 times a day, and she only has one body count, her pussy's probably going to be looser if you follow this logic than a girl who had sex with 100 guys, but it was only once, right? So it's just like your girl's body can't tell between like a new dick or like the same dick. It's just like such ridiculous like fucking logic.
Facts. So back to hookup culture. I think that women now are really into hookups over relationships, and I think that's a problem. I think that the only thing that they value that they can get from all of this is validation and sex, and I think that relationships offer a deeper connection that, of course, you can also get from friends. What I prefer about a relationship is that I feel like I feel like the value of a friendship is based on how much you can be yourself. And in a relationship, you can almost completely be yourself, ideally, because you can also be that sexual part of yourself.
Yeah, the right kind of relationship is awesome. I mean, I'm in a relationship right now and I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I do think what was the early point I was going to make? We're talking about I think that's another red pill misconception that like all these women just want like casual sex and one night stands. In reality, the vast majority of girls I talk to, they're looking for relationships. So I don't think that's actually true that most women just want hookup. Like I think most women, like the vast majority of women, do want a relationship. They might not want to get married, but they are looking for like a boyfriend. It's only a very small percentage of girls, like 1 to 2%, like the OnlyFans type of girls who are like just love fucking casual sex. But it's like such a small percentage of women. They're just the most vocal. But
I
it's
think
not.
that also depends on where you go because you can probably tell I'm in a dorm. I'm in college. I think there's definitely a much larger percent of girls who just want to fuck around, and it's frustrating as somebody who wants a relationship to have to.
But I would venture to say like at least 60% of girls in your college want a relationship too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm in a relationship right now. So
Like I live in Miami, which is like the most like fucking ratchet thought girls, and
oh
even
my
in
God.
Miami, like I think like 80 to 90% of the girls I meet like want a relationship. Like
Damn,
they might
in
be cool with
Miami.
casual sex, they might be cool with it. They might be down with it, but if they could have their choice, if they could have their pick, they would pick the relationship.
Mm. Now the goodness of that relationship is another matter entirely. There's definitely a lot that can be said about how a high body count would affect a relationship.
How do you think it would affect it?
I think that people who have high body counts or who have been in a lot more so people who've been in a lot of relationships, I think they're jaded to relationships, and I think they're less able to form um, deep, meaningful connections with their partners.
Is this just women or men and women?
That's tough. Probably men and women. Of course, I wouldn't. I mean, like, I imagine if I had more bodies than I did, I wouldn't think that I would be like that. But
I don't know. I've like had sex with hundreds of girls. I don't feel like I'm jaded towards relationships at all.
mm-hmm.
I feel like if anything, it makes me better because I have like such a wealth of experience. So I can pick a girl that I really like. I don't have to like settle for the first girl that's willing to fuck me. I also have like really experienced a lot of casual sex, so I'm not like as driven by it because like oh I've already done this hundreds of times.
Facts.
I don't really know if that's true. In terms of what on the woman's side, there's definitely a correlation between a woman having a high body count and her, her likelihood to divorce a guy. That clearly
Yeah.
exists. But the question is it correlation or causation? Like, if you actually look at the study that all these red pill guys reference, the author of the study, like himself, says, "Yeah, I don't know if this is a correlation or causation." Like, meaning, like, it's not a stretch to imagine that a woman that has had sex with 100 guys is much more novelty seeking, and a woman who's much more novelty seeking is more likely to divorce her husband because she wants the novelty, right? So, is there something inherent about the act of fucking 100 guys that makes a woman less likely to commit to a relationship? I don't know. I really don't know, but my gut feeling is that's more of a correlation than a causation thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that like a woman who fucks so many men would be worse at a relationship solely for the fact that she doesn't like relationships and probably hasn't been in many since she's just fucking around, right? Or maybe maybe the reason that she is choosing to fuck around and not be in relationships is because she's bad at them or whatever.
I see.
So
yeah, like is there something like about the act of having sex with hundreds of guys that changes your brain chemistry that makes you worse at relationships? I don't know. We don't really have any data.
What does chat think?
Yeah, that's like
A whole lot of nothing.
Typically don't ask the chat on stuff like that.
I know, I'm joking. Totally joking.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I feel like there's a lot of like bro science with this kind of shit. You've never enjoyed casual sex?
I've hooked up twice, and I didn't. Me personally, I didn't enjoy this. I thought the sex was bad. Not only was the sex bad, I felt pretty shitty afterwards. So I mean, I have been there, but not really into it.
What if who's your like number one celebrity crush or like porn star crush?
Oh man, fuck. I don't know. That's a tough one. Porn star crush. We'll just do Mia Khalifa for
okay. Mia Khalifa, yeah, big titties. I like her.
Yeah.
She seems like a shitty person, but like a really good father.
Yeah, though I'm genuinely not into girls with high bodies. So,
okay.
But we'll just say.
So I give you the chance right now to fuck Mia Khalifa. Would you do it?
If I weren't in a relationship,
you would do it. Go on, Mia Khalifa.
I mean, maybe to say that I could, maybe to say that I had done it, but at that point, like it'd be like an accomplishment. It would be for the actual sex, right?
Imagine Mia, huge fucking Lebanese titties bouncing in your face. You're telling me you would do it?
I didn't know she was Lebanese.
She was Lebanese, yeah.
No, I don't think I'd do it. I mean, it depends. Oh fuck, I don't know. I mean, if she's right there, like you
come home from a college party, Mia Khalifa is laying on your bed, her titties out, fucking oiling them up, and saying, "Hey Turco, Why don't you come play with these? You're telling me you're gonna be like, oh, I'm good on that. It's actually getting kind of late. Come on, you're gonna fucking be like, fuck yeah, you're gonna be all over that.
Okay, I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I'm not saying I would either.
Okay, that's a very politically correct answer.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, I would definitely do it. There's no, I'm fully willing to acknowledge that. It wouldn't even be a thought in my head. I'd be like, oh, this is the best birthday gift ever. It's not even my birthday. Yeah.
Do you think that sex can be better, or is better with a partner that you continuously have sex with generally? Because for me, like, the experience of somebody knowing exactly what you like is more valuable than being able to fuck random girls.
That's an interesting question. It's also a tough question because yes and no. So like genuinely the sex I have with my girlfriend is like amazing. Like it would be really, really hard for me to like replicate that with a random chick.
Right.
However, the novelty factor is gone. And like I guess people are different. Like some people's brains value novelty a lot more than others. I think it's called novelty seeking. And I've always been fairly novelty driven. So that novelty factor that I get with a new girl does really amp up the experience. So I don't know if it's better or worse. It's just different because like everything is better, but there's no novelty factor. If it's
Okay. So what about the novelty interests you? Is it just the fact that it is new, that the girl isn't the girl that you're usually fucking, that makes it something worth seeking?
It's not logical. It's like it's like
Okay.
on a personal level. Yeah, it's like why do I get turned on when I see big tits? It's not like logical. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
my reptilian brain. But yeah, so it's tough because it's just different. Yeah. But I think that's the challenge a lot of guys face is like when the novelty factor wears off. How do you make things interesting? I don't know. You really that's kind of corny. It sounds super corny, but I think you need like love and like true. I don't know, like true like desire for your partner and
Yeah.
like appreciation in order to keep sex good once the novelty has worn off. Because then it's like if you don't really love that person,
You're not going to want to keep fucking.
the love will compensate for the
Or you
lack of
won't.
novelty factor. Yeah, like the passion and love will compensate for that. But if you don't have the love and passion, it's just like a kind of like a loveless marriage. That sex is gonna suck.
Yeah. No, I guess that's true. And maybe enjoying hookups is something that would come with more experience too. I don't know.
Well, I just one of the arguments I have is I think you're better off getting into a relationship from a place of abundance, and in order to get to a place of abundance, you have to hook up with like
You have to be able to, right?
yeah, you have to bang some chicks.
You have to
get,
looks max and all that shit.
maybe not necessarily, but you have to like abundance come from different things. You can have abundance without looks maxing if you like have a really good game or something, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's just a better place to get into a relationship with. Like, if I just look at like my relationship, I've been in 5 relationships. I feel like every single one of them, I've done better in continuously because it's just like I just learn more things. I have more experience. I don't make the mistakes I made in my previous ones. So I don't know.
Yeah. So fill me in. Are you in a committed relationship right now, or are you in an open relationship?
I'm in a one-way open relationship.
So she's behind you, I think. So, so that means you're allowed to fuck whoever you want, and she isn't going to.
Something like that. I mean, there's some ground rules, but yeah, generally speaking, yeah.
Okay, so like you can fuck like people who aren't her enemies. Does she have to approve?
No, she doesn't have to. People who aren't her enemies and are not my exes, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean what man wouldn't want that? I guess, right? It's certainly rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you were in a solely monogamous relationship, you should probably go into an open one from the sound of it. But
if I was in what?
If you were in if you weren't in an open relationship, or if you weren't in this relationship that you're in now, I would say like you should probably be in an open relationship. Because that seems like what you enjoy is fucking bitches.
Yeah, but I feel like if I like really love the person or I care about them and I really like them, I don't think I could live with them getting fucked by other people. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, that's
like if I'm like just like hooking up with a girl, like if we're just fuck buddies, I don't care really at all. But if we're like if I really develop like feelings for that person, I just can't.
The way I see it is this: like, I would love to be able to fuck whoever I want, but I don't think it's fair for me to ask a girl to not fuck everybody if I'm gonna go around and fuck everybody. So, like, I sacrifice that for the sake of having a girl. You know what I mean?
I used to think like that actually, but I realized that relationships don't have to be fair. They just have to work for both parties. There's a lot of things about
Yeah.
like man to woman dynamics that aren't fair, but they work. Like for example, is it fair that a girl gets to skip the line in a club and go in while a dude has to wait like 30 minutes? It's not fair. But if we don't do that, then the club is gonna fucking suck and be a sausage fest. So
Facts.
there's a lot of things that aren't fair but are like necessary and they work for both parties. So I don't think it matters whether it's fair. I just think it matters whether both people are happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was writing shit down from the other arguments.
Is there anything else you want to discuss?
I wanted to ask you about the role of men and the role of women in relationships. Like, what should the ideal role of each person look like?
I think that's highly subjective. It just depends on what you guys are doing, what you guys are trying to do. I mean, dude, it can range from it can really run the gamut. Like, if you're like trying to raise a family, then I think probably, it's good if the wife stays at home with the kids, but the dad works, but he doesn't work too much. He still has time for the kids in the evenings. He's not like a total absentee father. Versus if you guys are like not having kids, like me and my girlfriend, then it's like totally different. Like, we can both like pursue our passions and careers while at the same time like enhancing each other's lives. So yeah, I just think it really runs the gamut.
Do you think that men are less capable of do you think that a man could take that role that a woman usually has of like childcare, and the woman could work?
I think it could happen, but I think it usually leads to bad outcomes.
Yeah, I would say that usually women do not like when men take more feminine gender roles. Like, I feel like they, think their man's a bitch or whatever. So
yeah, they get turned off and they lose respect.
Facts. Right. As soon as a woman loses respect, it's over. Like, that's one thing I've learned from my past relationships is as soon as there's no respect, you just got to end it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. When the respect goes out the window, attraction follows soon after. You can't really have attraction without respect. You can have respect without attraction, but if there's attraction, there needs to be respect too.
Absolutely.
Like, a woman cannot be attracted to a guy she doesn't respect.
Yeah. So to anybody like who's never been in a relationship before, I feel like it's really important that you always keep that in mind. That if she loses respect for you, that's it. You have to end it, even if you are obsessed with her. Because I made that mistake, and I think many men have, and many men will in the future. I think that's what leads to simpery, is that the bitch does not respect him at all, and he's still doing so much for her. I say as soon as that happens, it's over.
Yeah. It's just like fucking. It's just like, yeah, it's inevitable, basically.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's all my questions. It's good talking to you, bro.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Take care, buddy.
Take care.
All right. I think I want to set up a debate with this RPGTV dude. He's talking some shit in the chat. So, I'm looking forward to this. All right. So, I'm writing out my my email. There we go. So, shoot me an email because I don't want to like drop. Oh, wait. I forgot the G. Hang on.